Hi, I'm Mark Newman, President of Precision Analytical, and this video is to assist you with your interpretation of the Dutch Plus report. When you're going through the Dutch Plus report, starting on page 1, you'll see an overview of your hormone levels. So at the top, you'll see the level of estrogen. For women, you'll see the progesterone given as a serum equivalent, and then testosterone. As you go further into the report, you'll see more detailed information about these hormones and their metabolites. As you move down, you can see the salivary results here on the left side with 5 different measurements, and again, you'll get more data related to this as you get further into the report. Off to the right, you can see the total of your salivary, the total of the free cortisol. Continuing on to the right, you can see the metabolites of cortisol, or what we call metabolized cortisol. That's the sum total of the metabolites of cortisol. As you go down further, you'll find also some space for some information for us to communicate to you if there's something particular about these results that needs to be noted. So you can see those in this space here, and then there'll be much more elaborate notes further on after the results in the provider notes section. Moving on to page 2, both page 2 and page 4 have a simple listing of all of the hormone results, the ranges, and whether the result is within range or out of range. As you move on further then to pages 3 and 5, you'll see a graphical representation of the results. On page 3, a graphical representation of the reproductive hormones and their metabolites. Beginning on the upper right, you'll see progesterone's 2 primary metabolites, and then on the lower right, you'll see the estrogens and their metabolites. So when you're evaluating this, we're going to look for the overall levels of these hormones, and then particularly for the estrogens, we're going to look at both phase 1 metabolism and phase 2 or methylation of the estrogens. And if you want more information on how to interpret this section of the report, please do watch the video specifically for estrogen metabolism. For the androgens, we're looking at really 3 things here. We're looking at the testosterone levels, we're looking at the overall DHEA levels, which is the sum total of DHEAS, etiochalanolone, and androsterone. And then we also want to look and see if the patient has preferential alpha or beta metabolism, the alpha being the more androgenic metabolites. And as with the estrogens, there's a separate video that discusses the androgen metabolism, and I would encourage you to watch that video for more information on how to understand those specific results. As we move on to page 5 of the report, you can see melatonin, cortisol, cortisone, and the metabolites of cortisol. So starting at the top, you can see the levels of melatonin relative to the reference range. As you move down, we're looking at information mostly that we've already seen on the summary page, the total of the DHEA metabolites, the total of the cortisol metabolites, as well as the pattern of free cortisol. What we've added here in addition is the pattern of cortisone. Now, cortisone is the inactive form of cortisol, and it acts as a secondary look at that up and down pattern, as well as that morning response to waking. Below these, you can see the total of the 2, cortisone and cortisol, throughout the day. In addition to that, you can also see some calculations for what's unique about the Dutch Plus, the cortisol awakening response. So please do see these comments to see what both the range of expected values and your patient's values are, to look at the difference between that waking sample and the 2 samples that follow shortly thereafter. If you're looking for more information on cortisol and its metabolism patterns and the cortisol awakening response, please do see the video that speaks more specifically to that information. Following the results, you'll see a page with the steroid flow chart. Here you can see most of the hormones that we measure and the metabolites, along with the pathways and the enzymes that impact those hormones, as well as the different things like herbs, supplements, exposure to different things within your environment that can actually influence how a hormone is metabolized. Beyond that, you'll see provider notes. Those will be helpful both with interpreting the results as well as a place for us to put specific information to your particular case. So look for those comments as well as some hyperlinks to follow and find even more information and some educational videos to assist you with the proper interpretation of your results.